Maybe we should just. How much are they? They can't be that expensive.
Temu?
Temu it.
Amazon, it'll be here in 15 minutes.
Here in 5 minutes.
Jamie's on it already. He's like, I'm ordering it.
Yeah. Done.
Video slide.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chip Lunch podcast. It is excellent, very chippy of you to come along with us
Oh, how chipper.
on this. Oh, very chipper. We're back to accents again.
So, yeah.
It's a very chipper.
It doesn't take much, does it?
Not for me. No. Welcome, Braden.
Welcome,
Nice to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
Lovely to be here and on this salubrious lounge, and on the Pinkalicious lounge. Would you call it that?
Pinkalicious.
What do you call that?
I don't know. It's not really pink, is it?
Someone once called Burgundy Burgundy, so I call it Burgundy now. It looks a bit Burgundy.
Bit mauve.
It's mauve. Well, it's Burgundy, and it's Burgundy to have Hudson along with us again. You've been badgering me to be on the microphone again.
Oh, begging.
Nudging. I'm going for that host role, I told you.
Yeah.
I know you are, and the
going
other
for
thing
it.
is you are also, I think, most frequent guest now. It has to be. You say it's like the sixth time you've been on the podcast?
Fifth this time.
Fifth.
But are we, like, my voice has been on more.
Yes,
It's
yes.
true. That is true.
Yeah, you've been sneaking onto the microphone.
Yeah, but you're in front of the camera today.
Yes.
And that is because you were on a very early episode of Chip Lunch.
Yes,
which
episode
was,
12.
Did we say 12? Yeah,
Yep.
12.
Yeah.
But you've been you want to come back on and you want to tell the real story.
Yes. three years of
Yeah.
difference. I'm a
Yeah.
new man.
Yeah.
Well, given that you edit this podcast, what are you going to put on the thumbnail? Make it like really clickbaity, like
Oh, yeah. It was
answers revealed in
Answer revealed,
capital letters.
I was going to say my secret. Or
Yeah,
my
like
secret's
address some
out.
like
Yeah.
controversy.
Yeah, secrets out.
I can't hide this anymore.
That's a good one. I couldn't hide it anymore.
Yeah.
Let's say something like that.
Yeah,
So Hudson comes clean on
Yeah.
this Chip Lunch episode. I wasn't even on the last time you were on. That was episode 12 with
No,
Ethan and
who
Braden.
else was it? Was that
Yeah, it's
you
me
and
and
you and
Eth.
Ethan?
Yeah.
And then I had you and Tim?
You and Tim.
No, I was.
I
Yeah,
think.
I was. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't. You, Tim, and Ethan did one.
Yeah. And then we did one at MCC in the hall
Yes.
with Eth.
Me.
You, and
Yep.
you. Yes.
And your brother.
And my brother.
Yeah.
There's a finishing year 12
Yes. Double
celebration.
Mm.
trouble. It was-
HSC year later. Which I think is what we call
That's Macy's
that's
one,
Macy's
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
But you're back on, and then you hosted one with me and Quinn.
Yep.
And now you're back on in the Burgundy.
In the Burgundy chair.
Don't call it even the chair. Just call it the Burgundy.
The Burgundy.
The Burgundy.
The Burgundy.
Burgundy. Yeah. So what do you want to come clean about? What have you been doing that you need to come clean on a podcast with?
Do we need to reiterate a chip reference first?
Oh yeah,
or-
sorry. Fair enough.
We're getting ahead in the cart before the horse.
Why did you want to say that?
I don't.
I just want to say cool sayings. Like,
Yeah.
guys, you're putting the cart before the horse. People in glass houses don't throw stones. those kind of things. Bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Oh yeah. Well, there's the people who want their sayings just got a plentiful.
Yes.
Um,
I wasn't on the last episode, so I don't
Yeah.
even
Oh
know.
well,
what chip
I'm not sure if chip preferences changed because I don't remember what you said last time. But
It would have
Chip
been
reference?
something like chicken salt.
Yeah.
I don't have chips that much. I mean, I work at KFC, so so that's like outside work is I would not really have chips.
Yeah.
I had a really good chicken schnitzel last night, and that came with
Ooh.
chips and gravy. So that
Ooh, yeah.
there would have been chicken salt though. I don't think so. It would have just
Not
normal
normally with
salt.
gravy. I don't associate chicken salt with gravy.
I don't associate chicken salt with anything.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm
No,
looking
but
at you.
but chips with gravy is good. But also, if I'm just having them plain, just chicken salt.
yeah, how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Where'd you have this chicken schnitzel?
where?
Yeah.
The Prince.
Yeah.
And it slapped. It was
Did
so
it?
good. It was so good.
Wow.
I don't think I've had a bad chicken schnitzel from there yet.
So not
Yeah.
a palmy, just
No,
a,
no,
just a
I've-
schnitzel?
Don't have a recollection of ever having a palmy, and I don't
Oh,
ever plan. I don't like
wow.
tomato sauce that much.
Really?
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, that's a big.
So you obviously don't have that on chips.
No. Oh no.
Oh,
The selfish people that put tomato sauce everywhere on the chips and not on the side.
Yeah.
That is a crime against humanity.
Yeah. It also throws off.
I agree with that though.
It gets everything soggy inside.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
It does.
Be respectful. Put it on the side,
I agree.
Be respectful.
Be respectful. Put your sauce in the right
and then
place.
you can choose the amount you want,
Yeah.
and then you don't get your hands all like saucy and
Yeah.
there's so many issues. that
It
come
does,
up
it
with
does,
that.
but it becomes like messy
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
putting all the sauce on there first as well. So it's just chips and chicken salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a particular place, not really. I
Okay.
haven't tried the
Sugar Rays.
Sugar Rays. Yes,
Yeah, I
me
love
and my
Sugar
dad
Rays.
really want to go to that.
Is that
Yeah.
for chips or for burgers though?
Both.
More
They
oh,
do
both.
both.
Do good
Like
chips?
I'm more in it for the burgers, but the chips are pretty good.
I'm more in it for the
They're
burgers.
a side, but yeah,
Yeah.
we haven't gone there yet. But I
Yeah.
don't have a. Gray's Point used to be good, but now they seem to get smaller and worse
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not the same as.
and I don't have it as much, so
Yeah.
I don't have a particular spot I would go to.
Mm.
Okay. Well, we can ask the second question. Or has that already been asked on the last episode? I don't even know. I wasn't on it.
We can find out.
We can find out.
Hudson, how did you become a Christian?
I think it has been asked, but
Mm.
I'll rehash it. So I grew up in a Christian household, which that's different to you? I know, is that different?
Yeah,
in
we're
saying
both
you?
the secular side. Of the
Late
tracks.
bloomers.
Secular side of the tracks.
Yeah.
Yes, we're both from non-Christian families. You're
Yes.
from a Christian family.
Yeah, so I grew up in a Christian family. We would have been going to Guy Mere for most of my upbringing. I don't know until when, like
2011.
11, I think.
11, so till I was 6 or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
No real recollection of that place apart from a birthday party I had there, which was Star Wars and Ninjago themed.
Oh, that's a
Wow.
combo.
And the only reason I think I know that is because I found a invitation. It's just
Okay.
sitting on a.
So you don't remember what you went as? Either
No.
Ninja or Star
No, but
Wars?
my mum did make like a Ninjago head and then a Star Wars head cake for me and my brother.
Was this like because one of you picked one theme and one of you
I
picked the
assume so.
other?
I don't know
Yeah.
who got what though.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know which one you chose?
No,
No,
I've got no
no.
clue.
Ah, okay.
I don't know much about Ninjago.
That's just like
They
Different type of
spin
Lego.
really
But this is like
fast.
part of the Lego thing where Lego was dying and then they just licensed everything and now it's like huge again.
yeah.
Mm.
And Ninjago is this interesting offshoot.
Yeah. My thing is like it's kind of like Bionicles in my brain, and Bionicles was earlier. Like
I don't even know what Bionic
It was like a
is.
different flip off of like a different like I don't know side thing to Lego that they released.
Sounds like a bionic version of Barnacles.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Bionicles.
Bionicles is sick. Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
look that up in your
but yeah,
spare time.
Ninjago is like, I guess, a different lore set. I don't know, like because there was people that were really into like space Lego, and then like
Yeah.
the medieval Lego.
Yep.
Like Ninjago's like.
I wasn't even. I was into the show, not like the actual Lego.
Well, yeah, I think the
I don't
show
think-
was massive.
I mean, the only cool Lego set I think they have is like they made dragons,
Yeah,
which were really sick, and
That's
they
pretty
fired
sick.
like
The Ninjago ones.
Yeah, they
Oh.
fired stuff from their
That is
mouths,
pretty cool.
which was cool.
Right.
So yeah, after that, so I don't know when my family's pretty involved with church. I would say
Just slightly, bro.
just a little bit. I don't know when did my dad come warden? You guys might know.
He went to become warden.
Warden, yeah.
Was he warden at Guymere as well? I can't remember if he was warden at Guymere.
I wouldn't know.
Like I
You'd
know.
listen to Adam's podcast.
Yeah, listen to Adam's podcast, episode 101. I know
101,
that. No, that's
yeah.
the number it is
Yeah.
because it's straight after loose. He was like his long time soul revivalist as well.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
him and your mum
Mm.
have been back in OG soul revivals back in the early 90s.
Mm.
But that's all I know. I can't remember when he became. He was warden from the beginning at Soul Revival Church.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know at Guymere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so with dad being a warden and my mum doing other stuff, we as a family we were pretty involved in church. But from a very young age, I had a lot of anxiety just around social situations and got homesick really easily. So family events were an absolute nightmare, and I would
Really?
they were so bad. I would be like nagging my parents constantly just to go home, and
Yeah.
always like just playing the sick card, which never really worked. It
Like, oh, I'm sick in the stomach.
Yeah,
or-
I don't feel well. And
Yeah.
sometimes like the anxiety did make that like where I was actually like feeling sick, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sick from normal means. I was
Yeah. It was 'cause
like
of
it was
you were
because of
anxious.
that.
yes.
And it was so unfair because my sister was doing the HSC before me, so she got out of a lot of stuff because she was studying and stuff, whereas I didn't have a good excuse to not
What's
go.
the age gap between you and Ashley?
Just 3 years.
3
so
years.
this would. So it was been. Oh, she would have started studying properly studying in like year 10 to 12. I think was when she was able to get out of stuff.
Sounds like a bit of a sore point for you there.
No.
Stop getting out of stuff.
My
Mum.
secrets are coming out. I told you.
Yeah, that's it.
Every
Secrets revealed.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think
Behind the curtain.
social situations for me were something I really struggled with. Something I not as much struggle with, but there's still definitely like a thing I'm working on and have got a lot of better on in like from the 12th episode of Chip Lunch podcast to now.
Really? Okay.
3 years. I think I've got
Yeah.
a lot better, and we'll get into that later. But yeah,
Nice.
that whole anxiety thing made
Yeah.
church quite hard.
Yeah.
And
What do you think was the cause of that, though?
the anxiety,
Yeah.
I could not tell you. I don't even know what I was anxious about. Like people would. I didn't even have to make the conversation sometimes because people like for being at the church for so long, even before Soul Revival started, being at Guymere, people would come up to you and be like, "Oh, I know you" and stuff, and you just wouldn't know how to talk to them
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like almost like a thing of like lots of people would hassle you in a sense. Like you'd feel like, oh, I don't know what to say to all these people that keep talking.
Yeah,
to me.
possibly, and probably like we've talked about this a bit, like critiquing myself a lot. Probably like I sounded weird when I said that, or like I should have said this or something, or like
Yeah.
why did I even say that? That makes no sense.
And then like
Yeah.
ruminating on it for a
Yeah,
long
yeah,
time.
and it's like, and then like I'll go do something else, and then I won't think about that thought like again forever. And it's just like, why did I spend like the 5 minutes I did thinking about that for no reason?
Yeah.
So I think I spent a lot of time hating social situations, which made church hard, which often meant I spent a lot of time trying to get out of church,
Yeah.
or I would go to like the service or kids chill at whatever age, and then go home straight away. So I'd nag my mum, and my mum would often be very gracious and let me go home, but it would be just go home and do whatever. And it wasn't like I wasn't going to parties or anything, and that only crept in a bit later, but it was just literally to go home. So that made church very difficult. But then going into youth, I think I dealt with Hughes a lot better than youth.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know. Oh, so this comes down a bit. I don't know why I dealt with Hughes. It was possibly a bit small and a bit of a less intense vibe than youth. I remember the first night of youth. I don't know what it was, but I just remember seeing like Big Eli and all those older boys, and we did like it would have been some rough house game, and I was just like, I am not here for this. But, and then we also ended up splitting youth into ages, which made it a bit better. But we also didn't have as many people. I had no one in my grade apart from my brother, and Eli had a couple in his grade.
Yeah.
So we didn't have many.
Eli Crawshaw.
Yeah, Eli Crawshaw. So we didn't have many people around us per se.
Yeah.
So then we eventually ended up combining them.
Yeah. So Fuse is the year 4, 5, and 6 group before youth, for people who aren't sure about what that is. It normally happens earlier in the night, and we hang out there, and then we have a gathering, and then youth starts after that. So generally you'll start off with Fuse, and then when you get to term 4 of year 6, you graduate into youth.
Which is actually, at time of recording, it's the last week.
Yeah, this is the last week
of people
of
before they
term 3.
graduate.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then so Eli's just a year older than you, isn't he? Or is
Crawshaw?
he
Yeah, just a year older.
Yeah, because you used to hang out with him a lot.
Yeah.
Like, because your parents would hang out heaps. You were able to hang out with him, like you grew up with him.
Yeah. I consider him my godbrother, even though when I've been on Christian camps and been like, oh yeah, he's my godbrother, they're like, that's not a thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a thing.
It's a
Thank you
thing,
very
guys.
much.
It's been a thing since I was
It's like,
young.
oh, you don't have a god brother? Unlucky man.
I'm pretty sure mine would be my cousins. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like that transition of like a maybe a smaller like group of fuse into youth, where all of a sudden you go from, I guess it's like primary school into high school. All of a sudden you're the little fish in a big pond again, kind of going into that. It can be tricky for some people, like especially like the change of intensity. And you're saying that was a bit tricky.
Yeah,
to figure that out.
And I was also dealing with for school. I went to a small primary school, and which meant most of the kids from my primary school went to a particular high school.
Yeah.
And there were like, I think 3 or 4, oh no, 5, including my brother and I,
Yeah.
who did not go to that school.
Yeah.
So I had to start over and make a whole new group of friends.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
primary school did you go to?
I went to Grace Point,
Yeah.
so it was like
And then
60 kids.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And a lot of Grace Point and Gymea Bay public go to Kirrawee.
Yeah,
Kirrawee.
all go to Kirrawee.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had a lot of Gymea Bay actually go to Port Hacking as well. They were
Yeah, it's kind of like
that
the
and Yowie
splitters.
Bay with
Yeah.
But you went
the
to Port
roundabout.
Hacking.
I went to Port Hacking, so I had to. My mission for high school was just to fly under the radar and like, so I didn't have a solid friendship group for a majority of high school. I just like bounced around a bit. And for the start of high school, I remember thinking, oh, I just got to make it to whenever the soccer season starts, which is July, and I'll be like, oh, I'll be able to regularly see my friends again.
Yeah.
Because I was staying at home a lot, and I didn't go outside to visit people or hang out that much.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, as long as I get to July or whenever the soccer season starts, I'll be fine. I'll be sweet. I'll be able to see them regularly, and I'll be good. And I think that definitely helped with me getting through that stage of being like, I've got something to like look forward to. It didn't help with the fact that I probably should have tried to be a bit more social in school, and I got better as we went on, and I think everyone did, and we all became friends. But for the first little bit of high school, it was fly under the radar, don't talk to too many people. Which
How do you find, like, you're talking about like being in a social situation like church, where people are like, there's a whole bunch of people there that have known you your whole life, and like you see every week, and I'm sure lots of people from the outside would be like, oh, Hudson's fine. He's known these people for years and years. He's basically grown up here. But then you're saying like that was actually something that brought a lot of anxiety with it. And like, do you feel like there's anything that people could have spotted or been helpful in that situation? Because like from the outside, it would have been really easy for people to be like, well, Hudson knows everyone, so Hudson's fine. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't
Or
think
you're
so,
just not
'cause
sure.
I feel like I'm really good at hiding. Well, I feel like, or at least I try to hide it myself.
Well,
Yeah.
you've learned how to do
Yeah.
it.
Well, like you said with high school, like you're like, I'm going to fly into the radar.
So it wasn't, I don't think, and I'm just trying to think now of how someone could help me, but I think it's just
What would you have liked to have happened? I suppose that's the question.
Yeah,
well, stuff did happen later, like,
Yeah.
like older boys, and we'll get into late night and me and Ethan battling between each other about getting involved and how that's going to help me, which it did. Surprise! Well, all the people giving me advice and actually working. Wild. So yeah, I think for me, I just needed to do more stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, some people might say it's surprising, but I just needed to do it. And not just in church, just in life in general, I think I just needed to do more and put myself in uncomfortable positions.
Yeah. But it's tricky when you are already uncomfortable and maybe you feel like, oh, well, I'm just going to be more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But do you feel like maybe other stuff would have come out of it, or?
Maybe. But I was also blessed that I had a bunch of good church friends push me. So Ethan's known me since I was a baby. So he was a blessing in that, and all you guys and the youth leaders backing me. And then I had my my core group of friends at my primary school who went to Kirrawee. like we kind of fizzled out at some point and then reconnected at, I don't know what age, probably the start of year 9, just before COVID. And so I got introduced to a bunch of their friends. And then I got my first job through my best friend's girlfriend, which managed to be a huge blessing in terms of me just doing something uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You had to go.
Yeah, it was good because I knew someone. So I was able to just go like, oh, I can talk to you in a conversation and I'll be sweet.
Yeah.
And that helped me feel less anxious and get myself some experience in some social settings. And
totally.
I think so having that church and then that non-church environment was helpful.
Yeah. How did you find being a Christian in high school when you were kind of disconnected from, like, it seems like, you would, in high school you got disconnected from kind of like your core friendship group at primary school and you were just trying to fly under the radar. Like, how was that being a Christian in that situation?
People know I'm Christian now. I don't know if they would say I was a Christian, just not because I was like a particularly bad kid or anything. Probably just
they
weren't thinking about it. Yeah. And there's like, I have a specific memory of a girl who I think is Christian was having a debate with someone on an oval about some religious thing, which it's the type of conversation where they've said something that like trying to catch you out on something, something ridiculous that like, you're like, why are you arguing about this? And I'm just like witnessing this conversation and I'm like, didn't say anything where I could have just like stepped in and said anything, but I wasn't like at that point where I was comfortable with being that open about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's something I definitely regret not doing, because I didn't think I had one real conversation unless it was initiated by someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is something I think I'm trying to do a lot more now. Something I've really struggled with during high school, which I probably didn't do at all, which I'm still struggling with now, that I'm trying to do a lot more, is evangelism. Like I guess you could say I do it with youth, but doing it with just like every opportunity I can. An example of this is 3 weeks ago, I posted a photo of a youth camp we went on, and there was just, the caption was like fellowship or something, and said something about God. And someone from high school who I hadn't spoken to in ages commented and was just like, hey, is this about God? I'm just wondering. And I'm like, don't think I've had a conversation to this guy. He's like taking the piss. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to respond to this. Like I can't be bothered to put my energy into this. And I was like, oh, I kind of feel a bit bad because there's a chance that he's not. So I'll just say like, I'll just comment yes. Yeah. And so I did that. Or maybe I privately messaged him. I can't remember. I did one of the two. And then I'm sitting in church the next, so I think I posted that on the Friday, and then I'm sitting on church, and I think he messaged me on the Saturday after the post. And I was like singing in church, and Henry's sitting next to me, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, someone's just commented on post. He's like, why aren't you evangelizing there? And I'm like, I didn't even see that as an evangelism opportunity. Yeah. But Henry encouraged me, and I sent a message saying, hey, what's going on? Yeah, it is. And would you like to know more? And then he's like, oh yeah, I've been like, I don't know, man. I'm just struggling. I need a change or something, I think he said. Yeah. So I was like, oh, come to church, blah blah blah. Here's the details. No, he didn't end up coming, but I've stayed in contact with him. Yeah. Kind of like I sent a message just saying how he was, and hopefully he will come this Saturday. But still in my mind, I haven't been thinking about it too much. But a couple of weeks, like a week after it happened, I was like, is he still like making fun of me? Where's the punchline? But it also doesn't make sense for him to like make fun of me. Like,
why are you so worried about that though? Like, why are you so worried that someone is actually, like, you're still overthinking that, right?
Yeah. I'm a massive overthinker. And, logically, it makes no sense for him to make fun of me because, like, who's he, like...
Because he's putting himself out there too, right?
Yeah. like, because he hasn't done this privately. He's like
Yeah.
put this where all my friends have seen. And so logically it makes no sense for him to be making fun of me right now. And if he did, it would do nothing because I don't talk to him, nor would I probably see him. So yeah, but I'm like, there's still in the thought in my back of my mind, like, what happens if there's like a punchline to his thing?
Are you worried about getting paid out? Because the reason I asked that question is that high school in particular, you're like, am I going to actually put myself out there in whatever it is and get made fun of? Because that's always the danger in school, is that, well, I felt that in my school, that was a danger at high school. It would be like, am I really going to want to do this?
Yeah.
Or be part of your thought process. Do you think that's something that's similar for you? Or like you're going to get made fun of, embarrassed, humiliated, or is it just something different from
No, that definitely in high school. And that was, I think that stemmed from not having a core group of friends where I was like, oh, this is who I am. So I think I didn't have this like thing where I could grapple to. Now, going back to the non-Christian friends I had from the other school, it was great because that put me in to a bunch of different friendship groups, like not their immediate friends, but their mutuals and stuff. So I met a whole bunch of people, and I was just introduced as the Christian guy, which I said, I think I've said before, but it was super helpful because I didn't have to say it. So that anxious part of being like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, and then having like overthinking, like, oh my gosh, they're going to judge me on like whatever their perception of Christianity is.
And you might be excluded anyway.
Yeah. So they were my friends were backing me, and then also did like just say it anyway. So I didn't have to do that, which was great. And I think I've definitely, like, I haven't heard anything bad from anyone I'm not friends with. The bad stuff I hear is from my close friends.
Yeah.
And that, like, they're joking, but sometimes it's a bit too far, and that they know, like, when I go silent, it's like, yeah, maybe this is a bit too far. Let's really. But I guess they're very helpful in paying me out, and like and it's a good way to bring up a conversation about it. And sometimes it's not worth doing the battle of, like, because they're just trying to find an argument. Because one of my friends really likes to have fights and stuff, and I'm just
he's like very conflict.
Yeah, he doesn't like fighting with me because I don't fight back. He's like beating a dead horse, and he's like, just argue back, and I'm like, no, because there's no winning here.
Fight back, Hudson. Does that help you though? Like, clarify what you believe in? Like, if someone's paying you out about something, even if you don't go silent, are you like, oh, I don't want to be a Christian? Or you are like, yes, I do believe this now, and I want, like, even if I'm not going to speak about it, I'm still definitely Christian.
Yeah, it's definitely been like, like, this is what I believe in. Like, I'm not changing just because you have an issue with it. And my close friends the only time they have an issue is when they're like impacting, like, I won't do certain stuff because of that.
Like, you'll make different choices.
I'll make different choices with them, which is where majority of the conflict will happen with them.
Do you want to tell us like an example of that?
So I mean, the obvious one is drinking, like, and that's not particularly a religious thing, because Christians drink as well. But I've made a decision, both with my morals and because I think it's a good way to show that I'm Christian. Going in a new environment and not drinking is, I feel, a good way to show that I'm a Christian, especially since I don't like, but like, I'm trying to get better at talking about it, but I don't talk about it as enough as I want to. But yeah, the drinking thing they will fight a bit on, and also where I spend my time. So I won't go to, like, I've done the whole clubbing thing, and when I say I've done the whole clubbing thing, I've been like 3 times, and I've hated it every time. And so I think where I put my time in, so the Fridays and the Saturdays they don't understand the youth, the youth commitment I have, and the church commitment I have. So that's a struggle I have with them.
It's one of the reasons that you say you're not going to drink is because it's more, you're not trying to be legalistic about it, but it's more about the kind of culture around drinking
Oh,
that it
100%.
is around that age group, which I found hard when I was
Yeah,
your age too.
I absolutely hate the culture because they'll be 1 minute like, oh, I hate drinking, and but they'll still do it, and I'm just like, I think I'm just if one person sees that and it's like, oh, I don't have to drink now, that's great, because some people will be like, oh, everyone's drinking, I have to drink because I don't want to be the only one who's not drinking.
Yeah.
And sometimes being the only one who's not drinking sucks because when people
You end up babysitting.
drink, you end up babysitting, and also sometimes they're so oblivious you just feel like you're not there because they're so wrapped up in their own thing or whatever they're talking about. But I think I have got better at that, and my friends are really lovely and very good at including me when I'm not drinking. But I'm also able to have fun without drinking, and that the conversation I've had at parties and people like you're not drinking. I'm like, no, I'm having as much fun as you guys, even more.
I once heard on a podcast that when someone says they're not drinking, it's like the only thing you abstain from where people think there's a problem with you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're an alcoholic. Like, that's the only reason you're not drinking. Like, in some countries, especially Australia, they're like, what's wrong with you? Like,
yeah.
You know, but the thing is, like, the way that I've observed that people, like, the drinking to excess thing really bothers me. And it's often, you said before, like, oh, I'm not drinking. Oh, you hear people, oh, I'm never drinking again. But then you get in that social situation and they want that upper, like, to get, almost to deal with anxiety sometimes.
The amount of conversations where people are like, I can't go to a party and talk to people if I'm not drunk.
Unless I'm drunk prior to like the pre-drinking thing and all that first. Like,
And what I've done at parties, I did this one party, I bought a bag of apples and I would bite them, and when I'd felt anxious, I would finish the apple and just throw it in a random direction, which don't. It was a good release, but probably not throw it in someone else's backyard. But that was
Planting apple trees.
that was a thing I did at a party. It was first time meeting a bunch of mutuals, so I was particularly anxious on that time. But that was a good release.
I think that is a thing in Australia that people use drinking a lot to make themselves feel okay in social situations. Like that. It is called a social lubricant. But I think, and then it ends up being the excessive, on the other side of the scale, where it has really detrimental effects to people's health. So I back you not drinking. Like, that's what I used to do. Sometimes people used to say to me, even when I was in high school, I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. And like, I had, one of the reasons was because of family issues as well. But people are like, why aren't you drinking? I'm like, well, first, like, in my head, I'm like, well, not even 18. So we probably, that was a bit of a nerd move. But also, like, I wouldn't say that, I'd say in my head. But then it'd also be people like, you know, Jesus drank wine. I'm like, I don't know if he did. He turned water into wine. But I was like,
give me a verse.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I don't know if that was right. Anyway, it's also something that I learned recently of the reason that drinking culture, especially in like late high school, is the thing, because it's actually, some people are really trying to show I have to be ready for adulthood, and that's one of the things they see as being ready for adulthood is I got to show that I can drink, because that's been modeled to them by other people in their lives prior. Okay. So,
but it's also that like you said, the person who's like, Jesus drank wine. That's a legalistic approach.
Yeah.
To, whereas Christianity's like, as Jesus like modeled, it's more about where your heart is when you're doing these things. There's lots of different ways you can do things that aren't necessarily bad in a way that's unhelpful or misuse it.
And so it says in the Bible 2 or 3 times, just don't get drunk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
because of the consequences afterwards and the sin that it can cause. But I think, you're 100% right. Like, if you go legalistic, you go the other way, and that can cause sin as well, I think. I was once watching a Bachelor show. Someone made me watch a Bachelor show.
Someone made me watch it.
I won't name them. They go to our church, and it was the American one, and one of the girls on it was like, "Oh, he doesn't listen," And so he's like, I'm going to listen. Like he was like a Hispanic guy. And then he's like, they're in a conversation and she was like talking. He's like, like just making like sound like he was listening. And then go, okay. Like it was so obvious he wasn't listening. But he's just like, I'll just make it think that I'm listening. That's what made me think of when making those noises. So where did we get up to in high school? So you went to youth and you found youth a little bit harder because of the social anxiety stuff. But then it was a bit easier when it kind of split up into different ages.
And then we eventually combined them when I was in the later years due to numbers. And then
COVID, yeah.
Oh, true, and COVID. And I also invited my 3 friends along, which made it a lot better.
Are they from the other high school or they're from
They're from the other high school. I'm just trying to think when I actually made friends in high school. And good friends that I'd invite. I invited 2 friends from high school, and that's it. And they both moved away.
That's evangelism, should say.
True. That was the peak. But apart from that, there was no one else, I think, for that time period, because we do youth till year 10.
Yeah.
So, and year 10 onwards was when I would have made some solid friends. So I invited those boys to youth, and they went pretty much every week, because like we weren't particularly cool and we weren't particularly nerdish, but we didn't have anything better to do because we weren't.
It's so funny that they're the two things.
Yeah,
either cool or a nerd.
It's the range. So we weren't either, but we weren't really doing anything on a Friday night. So they were pretty much there every single week because we had nothing else to do. And then that kind of trickled into late. Or no, it didn't trickle into late night straight away because I did not like late night straight away because of the same thing, the transitional thing into something bigger and older people. And that's something I really wrestled with Ethan about, because he was like, how can we make late night better? How can you enjoy it? Because I think when I moved up into late night, it would have been COVID, because I remember Zooms and I didn't go to any of them. I think I went to one and stayed silent.
It's hard work doing stuff across.
Yeah, I stayed silent. I think I just watched something on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm already bad in social situations, but put me on Zoom and I'm finished. I think I managed to get out of every single Zoom in high school.
Yeah.
For COVID. One, because we didn't have many, and the other because I just said my laptop broke and I just did the work and I was fine.
What year were you in high school with the lockdowns?
9 and 10. So I didn't have most of year 9, a bit of year 10. So I don't have any like recollection of, like, I don't have any high school pretty much. Like no one was learning anything for those times.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what do you think the effect of that was? So we'll go back to the late night thing in a sec, because it probably plays into the COVID thing. But what do you think the effect that COVID had on you and like your classmates in that age group? Because that's a tough time. Like, even if you're going to school like that, I feel like maybe year 9 and year 10 were the hardest for me at school, and then you've got to do that without even seeing each other. Just stay in your house and become a teenager there.
Well, that's funny enough. I loved it. I would do COVID again. I think it was the only bad thing about COVID was my PS4 broke.
Oh no!
The night of the lockdown.
Yeah.
And
so you couldn't go get it fixed.
I could not. And I ended up buying a later one for the next one anyway. So that was fun. But yeah, no, it's my bread and butter. I could stay home and not have to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And now the balance of not wanting to talk to anyone and wanting to talk to someone has it used to be like not wanting to talk to anyone was up here, and then wanting to talk to someone was down here. And now they've still like buried this much this way, but this one has gone up where I find myself going like, I actually like haven't talked to someone. I don't like it. Like let me go talk to someone. And then sometimes I'm just like, get me out of here.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But it kind of like pushed you further into the not having to be uncomfortable zone.
So I think I thrived in COVID.
Thrived helpfully, or thrived because you were like
you were what you wanted.
It's what I wanted, but
not. I wouldn't say helpfully. Like any of the knowledge or stuff we were learning at COVID did not stick, and it was just like, let's wake up really early, do all my work for 2 hours, and then play games till late night.
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
So I don't think I did anything helpful then.
Yeah.
So you feel like the anxiety wants you to isolate.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with people. But are you saying that isolating is actually not not a good move?
Yeah. No, I think it is.
So don't tell me the answer you think is right. Tell me
No.
the answer that
I'm
you
thinking in my I think they both work. I think that there is definitely times where you do need to be by yourself and have alone time. I do that all the time now, like where I have alone time and talking time. So I think you need both. And if you spend most of your time up here where you're not talking to anyone, and I think you just need to throw yourself in the deep end and try and balance up. And I think that's the best thing I ever did was doing youth leading and all that stuff, was because that threw me into a bunch of social situations, and it helped me socially, especially because I was the older kid talking to the younger kid. I hate the dynamic of a younger kid talking to an older kid. Me being the younger kid talking to an older kid. I think that was the social situations I really struggled with.
Again, is that because of I just have to say the right answer to an older person?
Yeah, and possibly feeling like I'm not as smart or I'm not capable of talking to the level that they're at. Whereas if it's a kid, I can talk to their level quite easily.
Yeah.
And I have to impress the adult, whereas with a kid, they got to impress me.
Yeah, right. So COVID, in a sense, is that you kind of enjoyed it because you could do whatever you want and you were isolated.
Yeah.
But how does that play into things like late night and youth leading? So you think youth leading was good because it challenged you to get out into it? Because I'm trying to match up the timeline between COVID, because youth would have been online, and Brayden, you can speak to this more. But yeah, youth was online. Were you leading youth at that time as well?
Yeah. I was leading youth. So that leading youth, there wasn't much leading. I was just like pretty much a youth kid, so I was fine.
Oh yeah, because year 9 into year 10. Yeah,
Yep.
you're still in youth. Yep.
And late night just did not go to one of them, which did not help me when we were out of COVID and it was normal late night, because I was.
Yeah, it's like a big jump.
Yeah, it was like meeting everyone in person, and like I know most of the people there, but I would have not had conversations with them.
And this leads to your repeated discussions with Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan
about
of trying to get me more involved and more social, which was very helpful. And as long as not going to late night, I don't remember the very bad with timelines, but Bible study, I was introduced to Greaves's Bible study in it would have been year 10 or 11?
10 or 11, yeah, somewhere in there.
So I'd done a couple things like that because we did commitments week where we'd went. So I'd been to your Bible study
Yeah, came to
twice or something.
Yeah, that was fun.
Which I enjoyed, but I did not enjoy Greaves' Bible study at the start. So I don't mean to throw shade on Greaves.
Yeah, that Griffs.
But it was the same situation going into a new environment with a bunch of adults and them having very complex conversations and me just sitting there silently.
Yeah.
While also having to deal with school and stuff where I could have been home. And I say could have been home studying. No, I was not studying.
Yeah.
But that was always the excuse, like, oh, I got the...
Well, that's like the being sick.
Yeah. Being that, like, I just had something else to put as like
so I could go home.
Yeah. Because I would hate having not a reason to not go.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because I felt like I had to have a reason not to go as well to be able to miss it.
Yeah. So what was your initial argument against getting more involved in late night and being keen on it with Ethan?
On not doing it?
Yeah. So what did he have to change your mind on?
That I could actually talk to people.
I mean, if you're going to talk to anyone, Ethan's a good one to start with.
True. I think also how much I need late night and what late night would do for me, and also how much late night needs me as well. So the transaction of what I could get from it and what like it makes the group better,
but also what you can give.
Yeah, and what I could do for late night.
Did he have discussions with you about being committed?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think throughout growing up, I was very inconsistent. I struggle throughout my childhood or even now being consistent with stuff.
Yeah.
I struggle with consistency in every aspect of my life. So that's why we've talked about scheduling
We have.
Yeah.
as a way of helping that. And I still struggle to stay consistent in scheduling, but I think that's why I enjoy going to the beach, because I try to do that every single week as like a consistent thing. Now I missed last week and I felt kind of terrible for doing that. And I was like, but I was sick. I got hay fever and it somehow got worse. But I was like, I just want to recover because I got stuff that I need to be okay for. But what was I going with this?
Commitment, consistency.
So consistency. Getting sick. Yeah, I struggle with consistency, and that's why I like the beach so much, because it's something I was able to do every single week, and that was something that
do you do that
change.
on your own?
Yeah, I just go by myself, and that's the not talking to anyone bit that I like doing.
But it's not at home.
No, it's not at home.
It's like being committed to going outside and doing something that's difficult, because as we've spoken before on the podcast, you get up early, you also go down and often run on the beach, and then you swim in the cold water as well. So it's all these other things that are actually going to be beneficial for the rest of your day as well.
It's if I look over the how my day looks, like Monday to Sunday and Friday are the best. Friday particularly is the best because I've the stuff I have on, but also the way I start my day. It's like the best way.
Yeah,
I start my day.
Totally agree with that.
In total.
I mean, I find it helpful to have a regular routine that I try to stick to. I don't always stick to it. But it's interesting that you say, like, I'm not very consistent. But as soon as you put some parameters around it, you end up, like, I think you want to be consistent, but some of that anxiety stuff gets in the way of you overthinking stuff and then not doing it. So then you beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, I'm very good at I shut down a lot, just being like, I'm not feeling great. I'm just gonna watch this show because I'm not feeling great, and like
that's a lot of people.
Yeah. This is not a personal fight. Like there's tons of people that have the same thing.
So what changed though? So you were saying it was difficult to go to late night. You had lots of conversations with Ethan about it. What changed in you, do you think, or maybe what did God reveal to you that you needed to change and could change to be more committed, to be more involved?
I think confidence changed a lot, and LIT, which is Leaders in Training, which I went to in year 10. No, year 10. The start of year 11.
Yeah.
So I went start of year 11, start of year 12, and then graduation. I think that gave me the skills, and then also being thrown in, like there's like 500 kids there and having to talk, and where you're encouraged to be confident and
being exposed to it.
Yeah, being exposed. So I think with Ethan's encouragement, and then also having that was very helpful in gaining confidence, and then being confident in my faith and God having a plan. And the amount of times because something I'm very bad at was staying consistency with reading my Bible and praying. Something I was able to stay pretty consistent with was praying for like God to reveal what He wants me to do, and the words I specifically was like, show me what you have planned for me, and like also help me to be okay with whatever you have planned for me, because it's one thing for you to show me, I could be like Jonah and just run the other way.
Exactly.
No, I'm going that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's something that I was really trying to figure out, and we'll get into part 2 of that.
Okay, you go.
How did it feel as someone who is like was nervous about social situations and like really not looking forward to like every kind of jump that you made, you found hard going into a new space? How did it feel when Eth was talking about, well, like you not being there is actually a detriment to the group? Like how did it feel to think through that as someone who maybe felt really uncomfortable going through those things Is that kind of a different perspective you hadn't thought about? And
Yeah, it was like I'm matter
Yeah.
because and like we were talking about how my friends pay me out for not going out, and like Ethan does it in a complete different way. Like, oh my gosh, you suck for not coming out. He acknowledged that I wasn't attending as much as he would have liked, and then said, how can we solve it? Where like the other side won't. But yeah, he the like, oh, we want you there and we also need you there.
Yeah.
I think changed my perspective of like I'm needed here.
Yeah.
And God definitely revealed that through.
That's a plan for you. Like that's a purpose,
like
right?
Just dive head first in and literally do as much as you can.
You think that's what you were searching for, like a purpose? Like, were you maybe a little bit, I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you're almost asking God, what is a purpose for me to kind of commit to or to head towards?
Yeah.
Then when Ethan's like talking to you about that, it's like God saying, hey, this is it.
Yeah, like,
but you're like super resistant to it.
Yeah,
anyway.
very, very resistant. Because I always, in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to become a pastor. I'm not going to do any pastor thing. So
Don't worry, I said that too.
So I was like pastor is not the route for me, which I think shut me off to like, oh yeah, that means I won't do anything in youth. I won't do anything for church because pastor's like the only thing you'll do as a thing. So I think that closed me off. And then God being like, no, there's like actually like a lot of stuff that you could be doing right now that you're not doing.
Yeah.
And that you could actually like, as much as it would benefit the church, would benefit you immensely.
Wow. I think that's a great way to end part one. What do you think?
Sounds excellent.
All right. Well, we'll be back, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching. And I look forward to this part two where we find out all the secrets. The plans and the secrets.
At the wizard behind the curtain.
But we'll finish this episode with a one way and we'll be back. One way. Next time on Chip Lunch.
So yeah, on schoolies we were challenged to like, what, like you guys have finished high school. This is like, you have the big question of like, well, what are you going to do now?